All right, hi everybody. Ryan Pruitt for the People, episode 2. As you can see, I already made some corrections. The picture frame was bothering me. I saw that was uneven the first time up. Got the Captain America up there, watching out over all of us, protecting America. Tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way. We're gonna talk Trump, President Trump, Donald J. Just to sometimes when you're not having a great day, maybe it's me, maybe I'm petty, but what boosts me up is thinking about people having a worse day than me. And I can't imagine what is going through Donald Trump's head right now. I wonder sometimes if he even knows how much is going on. Um, I don't know when. And this is tough for me. I mean, as I said in episode 1, when President Trump got elected, I sincerely, naively thought, wow, this is a man untethered. He is free to do whatever he wants. And I meant it in a negative way, that I really thought he would want to be popular, that he would just evenly screw over Republicans and Democrats. He would just do whatever was popular. And he'd want to, shoot for the stars and want to be, have approval rates in the, 70, 80%. Because he owed nothing to either party. And not only has he not done that, I'm trying to think when the first time I thought it was probable that our president had committed a crime. I remember early in the administration, January, February 2017, and all these questions about Russia were already coming up. And Sean Spicer, as press secretary, made the joke about, well, if the president used Russian salad dressing, people would say there was a conspiracy. I would love it if that was. I would have been happy if that was the only Russian connection. If he actually did use Russian salad dressing, and that was the only connection. The Trump Tower meeting, when that came out, that there had been this meeting in Trump Tower with Russians. And again, it's the way we found out about it. It wasn't the Trump administration coming forward and saying, okay, hey, look, turns out there was a meeting. It was that it was pieced together a year later that this meeting happened. And the accounts that it was about adoptions, and I believe them, because I think one of the most important things to always keep in mind about all these investigations going on with Donald Trump and his organization and his inaugural committee and his life and his family is that they did not expect to win. No one thought Donald Trump was going to win. A few weeks before, in the last days of the election, I remember they were already talking about President Trump, candidate Trump at the time, was going to be starting his own network as an offshoot of Fox. He was going to be like the right-wing Oprah. He was already making post-election plans that did not involve being president. He did not expect to win. Nobody expected this kind of microscope be taken to his affairs. But that meeting, so the reports came out about that Trump Tower meeting, and their first excuse was, well, we went in and we thought it was going to be about one thing. Well, so no one was quite sure why exactly the meeting happened. The next day, President Trump released a statement about it. It was about adoptions. It was about, one singular issue that happened to be with Russians. And then Donald Trump Jr. emailed the whole chain. He just tweeted it out. The entire email chain that led to the meeting, which includes, the immortal lines, if it's what you say it is, but, I love it, especially near the end of the summer. And in the subject lines, it was, this is part of Russia's ongoing effort to assist your father in becoming president. It's, I've read, Tom Clancy books and, John Le Carre. I hope I said his name right. Spy novels. This is a dangle. This is where they want to see if you're willing to do what line you're willing to cross. Are you willing to meet with us? Okay, great. Now, when we get there, we're not actually going to give you what you're looking for, but we just want to see if you're willing to meet with us. Here comes the cat. And it was just very bizarre, that meeting, and the fact that the next day the president issued that statement to say what the meeting was about. Because even then, the question was, well, how did you know the purpose of a meeting that you were, even at the same time, proclaiming you didn't know there was a meeting? So you didn't know of the meeting, but you knew what the meeting was about. Seemed kind of odd. And it's gotten, you just run through the news happens so fast now. And that's another reason why I wanted to start doing these episodes, because to kind of mark the date and the time when we know things now, because what we're going to know 3 months from now, oh Lord. So right now as we stand, you have Michael Flynn, National Security Advisor, for about, 3 weeks? 3 weeks longer than he should have been. Indicted for lying to the FBI, lying to Congress, claims that the FBI had set him up, tried to trap him with questions. And then tried in front of the Fox News was very excited about the judge that Michael Flynn had for his case, because this judge had shown in the past a very anti-government stance. Judge Pirro, very excited for this judge. This is a jurist unafraid of the swamp. Would they even let Flynn go completely? Did the FBI need to apologize to him? Well, this judge went crazy. Pointed at the American flag in the courtroom, told Flynn that he had betrayed everything that flag had stood for. Basically, and the judge held off sentencing Flynn, said, you know what, why don't you go cooperate, even though the special counsel has said, hey, Flynn's good, he's cooperated. The judge told Flynn, why don't you go try and cooperate even more and come back and see me in a few weeks, and then we'll decide what to do with you, how much jail time you're going to get. So that's Flynn. Manafort had also struck a plea deal, was going to be a cooperating witness, and then apparently tried not to be, tried to lie and hold stuff back from the special counsel. Special counsel broke the deal, said no, we're tearing up the agreement. Manafort and the lawyers were very upset by this, but then when they came back into court, they weren't so fired up anymore. And I believe the last we heard from the Manafort lawyers is, we need some time to kind of chit-chat among ourselves and figure out exactly what our next step is going to be. Um, Michael Cohen was that was the shot kind of heard around the world when his offices got raided back in, I want to say, April 2018. Um, an illegally authorized warrant that the President Trump called an attack upon our country. Um, Michael Cohen was sentenced to jail for 3 years. He's due to start in March. He was supposed to testify before Congress at the beginning of February here, and now, for some reason, Congress has pushed his time back to February 28th. So now it's February 10th right now. So between now and the 18th, something is going to change that makes it better for him to testify then. And coincidentally with that, there's her last name is Butina. She's a Russian agent involved with the NRA who is now a Russian agent who's now a cooperating witness for the United States government. So it's like what is that, inverted treason? I don't quite know. I don't know what the double agent out loud. She was going to testify, but they told her to come back February 26th. So apparently Congress has something going on in the next couple of weeks that makes them pause on this part. And now, part of what might be that pause is Rick Gates was Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort was the campaign chair, and Rick Gates was not only his deputy, but stayed on much longer than Manafort did. Stayed on with the campaign and was actually there for the inaugural committee that raised $107 million, twice as much as any other past presidential inaugural committee had ever raised. Raised twice the amount of money, put on like 1/4 of the events that nobody really showed up to. And all that money, so you have a huge amount of money that makes you wonder how they even got that much money. But then where did the money go? There's a whole separate, I mean, these are just out in the open crimes that there's so many different things going on. But so Gates has been quiet. There's no sentencing on him. He's been cooperating with Mueller, Mueller. For some reason I can't pronounce it right now. With the special counsel, with SDNY, he's cooperating all over the place, and so there's no limit to that. But you just have all these people. Now apparently Donald Trump doesn't use email, doesn't text, so I don't know. In reading the books I've read, I read Fire and Fury, I read Bob Woodward's Fear. Reading everything I have about President Trump, it worries me. I just don't know. I believe he acted criminally, but I don't know if I don't think there's any fire that's going to prove that he committed a crime. And it's going to be left up to the voters of 2020 to actually do what needs to be done and end this thing, because it is a mess. It's Donald Trump, all the president's mess, and God bless the people that voted for him, that wanted something different, but he was not ready. His family was not ready for what is now coming. They're not ready.